Got all four members here. The CAM boys 4x1. They placed second here at their home meet. Going to start off with Connor Bell. He led off the relay. Take us through that first leg. How good of a start do you feel you got off to?
I felt like I got a really good start off the first one. Came into the blocks real good, and then came into the curve. Realized I was ahead of everybody else, and saw Drew, got to the mark, and I felt like we had a really good handoff today for being our second time running it.
Drew, how about your leg?
Yeah, like Connor said, our handoff is smooth this time. Last meet it wasn't so smooth. We've been working on it, but I don't know. It felt decently fast, and the handoffs were a lot better than they were.
You handed off to Marcus. Marcus, take us through your leg of the race.
Me and Drew, we had an okay handoff, but I came up to Trace. We had a good handoff. I know I had to pick it up because Emmett was coming up, but it was all good.
I know obviously the conditions affected everybody tonight, running probably not their best times. How tough was it in this cold and the wind?
It was a little harder, but still did all right.
Trace, you anchored it. Obviously, good competition with Adair Casey and Exira EHK there at the end, and you held off the Exira EHK guy. Take us through your portion of it.
Emmett shot out with Adair Casey right at the beginning. I knew I wasn't going to get him, but I got a smooth handoff from Marcus, and I was ahead for a while, and then heard EHK's guy coming up behind me, so I guess finished it off and didn't get passed by him. But it felt pretty decent.
What about your other events tonight? I know you're in the shuttle hurdle, the 110 highs. Take us through your other events.
Shuttle hurdle was our first time doing it. Marcus and Thomas and Nick were doing it with me. I think we got a 1:16, so not a very good time, but we got through it. Then I did 4x2 with Marcus and Drew and Jordan, and that went pretty decent. And then 110 highs.
Marcus, let's talk about the home meet a little bit here. I mean, it's not at CAM High School, but it is the CAM meet, and surely a little bit bigger crowd than maybe you ordinarily get. Does that help?
Yeah, the crowd did help a lot. Really pushed us, and kept us going.
Drew, I wanted to ask you about the discus. I know not one of your best throws tonight necessarily, but you did have the school record coming in the discus. Tell us about that mark you set, and how does that feel?
It was in Carroll at Glenn's meet that Carroll hosts there. Hadn't thrown at a meet yet this year. Hadn't had as much practice as we would have liked, but came out and threw my first. The first throw was a 124. I kind of surprised myself. I was shooting for like a 125 this season, and second throw I threw it, and it didn't look as far as the first, and they marked it, and it was a 134, 11 and a half. So, and the other ones were a 123 and a 125, but it was a good night. Definitely a good start to the season.
Congratulations on that. Connor, I wanted to ask you, I know one thing Coach Fogelman talked about was getting a lot of events filled up, getting the guys to run a lot of multiple events. You had a busy night too, with the top 5 finish in the 400, also a good showing in the 200, runner up there. Tell us about the 2 and the 4.
The 400 is the second time this year I ran it. Ran about the same time. The weather was kind of a factor today. I really tried to push myself. Ahead of him, head coach stationed at 200 meters to tell me my time. I wanted to hit there about 30 seconds. I got there about 23, 24 seconds, so I knew I was on a good pace for a good time this time. And I don't know, Jake Carey, I didn't expect Peyton Shernan to be here today. He's a heck of an athlete. He can run a very good 400. I met him in Carroll last week, and him and 2 other boys, they beat me by about 3 seconds. And that was about the factor this time too. And then went over to the 200. Legs were a little tight going into that, but battled through it and stayed with Emmett. And I can't remember what school the other kid was from, but until the last curve, and then Emmett really exploded. He's a gifted runner. Then I just tried to stay with the other kid neck and neck. He ended up beating me about 0.3 seconds or something like that. But looking to get better as the season progresses.
All right, thanks guys.
Yep.